Hey guys, and welcome back to this channel. I'm so nervous. This is my first gaming video. So let's get started. Why not? I'm not really good at reading in English because I'm Russian, but I'll try my best. The wind cloud at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song waved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twinned in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom and with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Okay. The Owl Will Arrive. Episode 1. Hey, put away your book. Okay, that sounded really weird. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how sludged you are. Hide. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on the line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times Anyway, okay. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic. She almost looked like your typical girl from the commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. Okay, that mom is a really good Russian mom. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Oh, I hate porridge. Ew. Hazy and noxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. Ew. It looked like a jellyfish from the costume Odyssey. I love that show. Okay. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with the cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. Was it this? Craved on the other side of the spoon. What is this? Okay, what? Korrina. Nice name. Ha, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. Okay. She sure was a rascal damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Okay. Should I remind her about it? No, she been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sound coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagine my grandma coming into my little mum's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this is her soft, smooth voice. Taija is a special place, little girl. Taiga, not Taija. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern, okay, what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't bond you in time of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, I'll grab you by your side and drag you under the ground. Okay, that's scary. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never thought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times with the madding screams until late at night without smashing dishes and mutual accusations. So what the fuck? I can't read. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. That's cute, okay. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with neat, colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with grey faced of my ancestors. They all had a dead but thankful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There was a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Olya, look, it's a fox. Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle, not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose and there's... Hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. Okay. It does. Stop it, those kids, I swear. Now I can't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to sketched out needle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with a long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rambling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olyo always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all of this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every second in fear of hearing the most dread and deadliest word that started with a D. Devo. I don't even want to finish it. Oh, divorce. That's sad. It was scary to imagine that me and my sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyways, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. Okay. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still. Korrina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop. Make a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. But the owl. There was no owl. But there was one. It has giant glowing eyes. Olya sprang up from the chair and placed her hand on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each. Wow. Last year you had Bye-Bye in your closet, and now this owl? But I saw it. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice, okay? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snored in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together. For example, but how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or crawl up into the ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Oh my god. The fuck? And then Olya said she saw the giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in the power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words. What to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Really? That night I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twinkling hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gapped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. The cruel glares filled with the icy snares made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp on me with their bloodier shoes? Bloodied shoes. The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name of me worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of a monster. My gaze slid across the drawing hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they all promised to call me for time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around. Anton is not around." I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floored concrete building, buzzed with neighbors' drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corner, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all wake up during the night. Sometimes something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos from my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by nosy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of a demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perspection, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of a wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there. Amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. That looks like cute animals. Or maybe they're not cute. Okay, let's see. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped in piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon come to mind, but those were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circling around, holding hands and whipped up snow, disappearing in the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadow forced in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted for a bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh my god, that was scary. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a shift motion and stepped back towards the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfect dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circling around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shakeless of fear lacked my muscles. I remembered the funeral of my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of a chair that held my grandma's casket. Okay, ew. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her winkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, under the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. Evil leave the house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I casually peeked out from the blanket and saw curtains waving around like hanged men, and then the night dusted me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sounds crushed at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching on the front door, hurriedly clawing at the wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. I was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person was trying to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started to twitch violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taught me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness withered inside the okay, I'm not gonna read that. Mouth of a doorway. To me. Tuni? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who waved it to come out of the gaping black hole. To me. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale and desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "Tusha, you asleep?" My sister's pale face protruded from the thickened shadow. Okay, I was kind of terrified myself. Okay, I almost screamed from relief. Oh yeah, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. Is there again staring at me? Shoo her away, Tasha. Please. I was so scared. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I had an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the movie Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window and it could be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tasha, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Oh my god, what the fuck did that happen? That scared the shit out of me. Let's just finish here for now because I just jumped. I didn't even scream. Oh my god. Okay, let's just finish here. I think this is enough for a test video. It's kind of, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe to this channel to see more of this game and of me terrified. And I know my reading was really bad, but I'll try my best in the next episode. I'm gonna save and bye.